We have a report from the Hartford Rally from Luis Chaluisan with the Live Eye.
Good afternoon, Randall. As you might well know, 7 years ago, the Supreme Court decided to make abortion legal. Ever since then, pro-life activists across the United States have been gathering members. We talked to one of the organizers of this silent vigil in front of the federal building in Hartford, and she had this to say about abortion and its ramifications.
Very much against abortion on demand. We feel it is the, intentional destruction of innocent human life. The Supreme Court decision of January 22nd, 1973 gave us abortion on demand in this country, which means actually that a woman, for any reason whatsoever, can destroy the unborn child within her body. The ramifications of this decision are very dangerous. If the unborn child, who is one segment of humanity, can be crossed off because of the fact he is unwanted, inconvenient, or whatever reason whatsoever, that same philosophy can logically be extended to other segments of human life.
When we asked Mrs. Murphy if vigils like this and other work will have any effect, she said that she hopes more effective pro-life legislation will happen in the near future. I'm Luis Chaluisan with the Live Eye in Hartford. One resident described the Main Street fire like being caught in a hot oven. It was shortly after 11:30 last night when shouts pierced the 3 Belden buildings to get out. In a matter of 4 hours, according to Red Cross workers, 80 people, many poor Hispanics, lost what meager possessions they owned. They were later put up for the night at the Orq Middle School. Alivio Hernandez says when he noticed all the commotion, the smoke, and then the firemen, he rounded up his children and wife and left. He leaves his future in God's hands. This firehouse stands right across the street from the burned-out building. When residents ran over to tell their building was on fire, as fate would have it, nobody was here.
They were at a previous alarm down that had come in from the police station. A smoke detector had gone off at that time. Evidently, when they went over there, they were still out. And a matter of time must have developed before they, realized that they were out, because the straight box came in off the street.
Witnesses say 2 men jumped to their deaths from one of the Main Street buildings. According to residents, the rear exits were either boarded up or nailed shut by order of the landlord for security reasons. They angrily add the 4 who died in the blaze might have escaped if that weren't the case. The landlord could not be reached for comment. And what about the future?
I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know where I'm going to stay. I don't know where. Oh, nothing.
The fire department is still investigating the fire's origin, though faulty wiring is suspected. Firemen were also battling a fire at 18 Mapleton Street at the same time. 1 person died in that fire. Luis Chaluisan, Eyewitness News, Hartford.
A massive search is going on right now in northeastern Connecticut for a missing little boy. Luis Chaluisan is just back from Thompson with the story. And Luis, what's going on out there?
Well, Bill, state police are saying that 3-year-old Chris Labonte was last seen by his father about 1:30 this afternoon. There's no picture available yet of the boy. State police say the small boy was wearing a blue snowsuit, brown hat, and black mittens when he disappeared. The child apparently walked off with his dog into some nearby woods. About 300 people have been involved in the search. Rhode Island State Police have also joined in the search parties. And the state police spokesman says they will stay throughout the night or until the boy is found.
We've had the Connecticut State National Guard here with helicopters earlier this afternoon until dark. They'll be back in the morning. And right now we're continuing to search the entire area from the house outward. Checking streams, ponds, vacant buildings, cars, anywhere where a child could curl up and go to sleep or something of the kind.
Searchers thought they had traced the boy to a nearby pond, but their initial search proved fruitless. Police say divers may be used to search under the ice if he did fall through. Meanwhile, the general area continues to be searched as thoroughly as possible. There's no word at this point if he's been found, but state police have said they will immediately notify their main barracks once he's found. Don?
We expect to have a picture of the boy tomorrow sometime.
Sometime. I think later on tonight they'll probably have something. They just didn't have it when we were there.
Okay. Thanks, Luis.
High-speed computers and stockpiles of insurance information were the main items UN Ambassador Lai reviewed while at the Travelers Insurance Company's data processing site. No political comments this time, like last night's swipe at Russia during a speech at the Sonesta Hotel. Instead, the ambassador chose to explain China has its own insurance system, amusingly adding, with 1 billion Chinese people to take care of, there's always room for new business. Parting gifts, a set of shiny red his and her umbrellas with the traveler's insignia. Then off to Pratt & Whitney, where the ambassador, accompanied by United Technologies head Alexander Haig, had a quick tour of the main manufacturing plant in East Hartford. The former NATO general and other Pratt & Whitney officials showed off the plant as curious workers looked on. A spokesman for Pratt & Whitney said the company has been doing business with China since 1972, providing the country with commercial engine parts. As a result of recent negotiations, the Pratt & Whitney-China relationship, according to the spokesman, is headed for a bright future.
On the horizon, and the immediate horizon, is the potential to sell a number of engines for the aircraft which they're buying to develop their domestic structure. And we feel confident that when this expansion takes place in the CAAC, that it will mean considerable business for a Pratt & Whitney aircraft, in the order perhaps of several $100 million over the near-term future.
The ambassador did not talk directly with any of the media, but did express satisfaction with the day's activities. After the plant's tour, Ambassador Lai whisked off to the governor's mansion for a private session with Ella Grasso, who, according to reports, is planning to visit China in the near future. Luis Chaluisan, Eyewitness News. According to the principal here at Barnard Brown School, this breakfast program has been going strong for the last 10 years. How do you all like the food? Good. Okay. There are similar programs throughout the city, but they're in trouble, not because of lack of funds or lack of food, but because of lack of supervisors. Last October, Hartford's Board of Education mandated, in addition to breakfast programs at the Ann Street, Sand, Burns, and Barnard Brown elementary schools, 12 other schools be added. However, due to the staffing problem, only Martin Luther King, Hooker, and Clark elementary schools are set to start by the month's end.
We have it so scheduled that students will come into the school anywhere from a half an hour to 45 minutes prior to the regular opening of school. With this model in mind, we need to have supervisors for those youngsters, and this happens to be the problem at this particular time. We have posted the notice of vacancies. I think part of the problem is that it's such a short period of time that we must rely on existing personnel in the school.
The positions do carry a salary, $5 for an hour's work. So why don't the teachers do it? According to the Hartford Federation of Teachers, their members are concerned the program will become mandatory. So no work until it's written into their contract, it stay voluntary. The Board of Education says that was guaranteed when the expansion policy was passed. The staffing problem is supposed to be straightened out by the end of this month. That's when other children like these may or may not get breakfast in the morning. Luis Chaluisan, Eyewitness News, Hartford. This season you can find big Christmas trees, little Christmas trees, Scotch pine, white pine, or a traditional balsam tree. Christmas trees you can use for the holidays and later plant. Here's the low-budget tree, known on the street as the leftover. The price for a tree has jumped slightly since last year. According to retailers, about $3 for an average 6-foot tree. If you want, you can have your tree pre-cut and ready to go. Or if you're into a macho bag, you could come to a private tree farm like this one in Marlboro and cut your own tree. Cutting your own will cost you less. A flat fee gets you any size you want. Getting that plastic tree doesn't thrill a lot of people anymore. Retailers say people are coming back to the traditional tree.
Or 10 or 15 years ago, and we were selling approximately year after year the same amount of trees. Then the artificial tree market cut into our sales of cut trees. However, the return to the naturalness, the natural feeling that people have had in the past for Christmas has increased the sale of cut trees that we are selling now.
And what does this all prove? That Christmas is just around the corner. Christmas tree retailers say a rumor going around about a tree shortage is just a myth, and that Santa will have no trouble in finding a tree to put a gift under. Luis Chaluisan, Eyewitness News.